righty. Welcome back to Restaurant to Another World. Anime Review episode number 5. This review episodes 10 and 11. Episode 6 we'll discuss the final episode of season 1. The first episode is Cripes and Nagato Spaghetti. The first one is basically they've used some new characters. Fairies! Yep, it's a fantasy world, so of course we have to have frickin' fairies. But these are not other fairies I've seen in other series. I've seen fairies where they vary in every single franchise. Sometimes pick it's evil, like depictions mentioned like they've been like pure evil, some like pure hearted people. Depends. Fairies tend to pop up everywhere. Here's a fun fact for you. What is the most popular American created fairy? Well, technically not created by America per se. It was created back in the UK, but created for animation. Tinkerbell. Yep. That is the most popular fairy in the US when it comes to American animation fairies, because Walt Disney created that version of the character who has been around for over 40, like almost 60 years. And this one basically, usually fairies tend to be either small or in the case of leaned from in my smartphone, tend to be normal sized humans. That's normally how fairies are, and they're ageless, like the elves. Now, these fairies are the ones basically some people are more familiar with, not the normal sized one like Lean is. This one is these are basically very small people, and they can't and basically the queen is like, oh, we had this door just pops out of nowhere. So takes the brigade in, has a golem giant made of grass. Yes. Well, actually more like regular vines, to open the door. And then she steps through, and apparently Anita does not notice them because they're small. And of course she uses look like a gazing eye. This effect reminds me of a character from basically an ability, that Noir used. The main character from the hidden dungeon only I can enter. It reminds me of the Discerning Eye, and she just happens to come across Victoria, who just happens to be a sorceress. Says, hi, I'm... Okay, her name is, get this, Tina, so the 6th, well, they say, 16th. And of course, she says, hi, I'm Princess Victoria from the Dutch Kingdom. And they get along really well. And she recommends, because she's a sorceress. And she's like, oh, fellow royalty, despite the fact she's a daughter of a duke. Well, I'm sure her father is probably a part of the royal family. Probably not like direct line for the throne per se, but she's able to basically consider herself royalty. Despite the fact that despite her age, she's only 36. And she looks great for her age. Well, the reason why she looks like this, why is she 36? Because she's a half-elf. Yep, and as far as I can tell, this character... I don't know, I don't think this character pops up again after this episode. They don't really explain the fairies well very much. It's like you just show up and they try out this particular food. Of course, Victoria apparently is very familiar with the fairies. So she recommends, crepes. The special fruit sweet. Because, of course, she's really sweet. And, of course, she does think, the sweet cheese would be too bitter for her, the fairies. They don't like stuff that's bitter, so try the crepes. And she also asks Anita to cut up the thing in tiny pieces for them because they're small. And of course she does. And of course the queen herself tastes it, and it's so good that her subject just happened to dig in, and they love it. And then the master comes by. Yeah, this is rare in the series. He actually comes out of the kitchen. Because at the start of the series, he did do this. In the very first episode, he did do this. Later on, when Anita was hired, he didn't do this very much. He basically, a lot of time you see him usually is in the kitchen, but never usually out, like, in the actual, like, dining area very much. Probably because he has servers now, he doesn't really need to do it. So, then, of course, after eating the stuff, they basically go back, like, a few months later. And, of course, Nita does recognize the customers. And that's it. Pretty good segment. I like it because Victoria does volunteer to pay for their meals in the future. which that's nice of her to do. Well, I get the fact she would afford it because she's royalty. Of course she can afford it. It's probably very expensive food. Mm-hmm. Yep. Now, I should also point out, though, that the actress voicing her is a woman named Anastasia Montez. Now, I just took a head count. It's like a dozen series I've heard her basically do voiceovers in. She was in Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, voicing a character named Garcia Hughes. She was in one episode of Rosario Plus Vampire, the first season of the show, voicing a character named Kito. The series Freezing. She was credited as Stacy Moon, as Akia Tadashi. I think that's how you pronounce it. She was also in Asakusa Rogue Hero, voicing Latier Trim. I'm looking up right now. Let's see. Oh! It's the elf. Yeah, the elf from the series. Yep. Let's see. She was also in... This is like series I've done reviews for. Let's see. She has also been in Fairy Tail. She was Minerva. Yeah, she was back from Minerva. She's Nabi from Overlord. She was Tights from Dragon Ball Super. Yes, seriously. Kamawara from D. Greyman. Let's see if I can try to find out this character. Let's see. Oh, it's Nakuma. Yeah. It's Nakuma, who appears like one or two she appears for like one story arc. Yep, she's in that. She was also in Love Tyrant, voicing the character Sanji's grandmother. She's also in Ace Attorney. Oh, yes! I remember this character. Yes, the voice of Wendy Obag. Yeah, the senior citizen security guard at a movie studio, which is hilarious. And she was also in Our Last Crusade, The Rise of a New World. Yeah, she's basically the main character's, the female lead's mother. And she's also the queen in How Real Saber Rule the Kingdom. Like, wow, 2 anime? Yeah, it's like this woman likes voicing royalty in like 3 different anime. There are 2 just recurring characters. This character in this series is a one-shot character. Yeah, but the actress did a really good job. And one of the initial voices for one of the fairies is Sarah... I want to make sure I pronounce her name correctly, because I love her work. Sarah Weinhoff. Absolute fantastic voice actress. This is the 16th series I have heard her in. Yes, 16th. I was so happy to hear her voice because I instantly recognized. I don't know which character she was, but I know she was one of the fairies. And then you come back a little later, but Victoria is not there. As who pays for the food, I don't know. Next up is Nagato Spaghetti. This one's quite unique. Excuse me, because they bring back the female elf who popped up a couple times in the series, the one who actually eats the tofu steak. She basically is out visiting a friend of her father's, who just happens to be his lifelong best friend, and she would use her magic to bypass a barrier, yes, a barrier, to go visit his friend. He was actually very impressed. And like, he instantly recognized who this is because he knows her parents very well. And she's like, you truly are their daughter. Which, that was a good compliment for her. And, of course, talk about cheese. And then it's like, oh, I went to this one restaurant in another world. I was like, you been there? Yeah. You been there too? Yep. And, like, we go to, like, this particular... Like, and they go to the restaurant, and they never see his comment for like, oh yeah, it's my best friend's friend, daughter, and the fact that Anita's met her before, so has Kuroko. She's seen her probably. The Master has known her for quite some time in the series, so it's kind of weird. I get the fact why, but Sideshow Guy Nagato Spaghetti. I've tried spaghetti before. I like it. I've heard basically spaghetti with like a different sauce. This basically is like. It's probably a Japanese dish. I'm not really sure about Nagato Spaghetti. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not really familiar with Nagato Spaghetti. Let's see. Oh, I'm looking at it right now. It seems like it looks like a Japanese dish. That's simply what it is. It's a Japanese dish. So... And pretty much basically he tries it first with spaghetti and then tries with rice, and he admits defeat in culinary alliance stuff, which is so hilarious. Yep. It's a very interesting segment. I do agree. It's good the fact we have another segment that features, well, or the character's name is Christian, for Dina. Mm-hmm. Yep. And that's it. They go off, and she goes visit the capital, try this other food. Yep. Next story, Capricorn. There's a bit of an explanation in this one, and it does partially play into the story. Well, there's a bit of flashback in this one where Red Queen is talking to Karkro, the Kakru, the dragon who works for the Master. No, not the Master of Doctor Who, the Master of the series. Where she's asked to protect the restaurant while she's not there. Because it's in her territory. Well, the door pops up her territory. I'm not sure how the restaurant itself is. So it protects him. So it does play a role here. We get introduced to a new species. Sirens. Yes. Sirens. Aquarius and Iris. Iris is voiced by Byron Apple, who I have heard of her before. Yes, she was in the series Attack on Titan as Astoria Ross. Yes. And can you believe this woman's only 25? Like, yes, 25 years old. But her first series apparently was Fairy Tale voicing Melody. Yes. She was also Akino in High School DxD. She was the second actress who would play her. I'm not sure whether they replaced the third one. She was Julie from episode Duo. Great to hear her voice again. Sarah for the end is Mari. Let's see. She's also Dragon Academy. I have watched this. I don't have media plans for it. I want to watch it again because it's interesting series, this one. Yes. I'll talk a little bit about it in a second. Let's see. My Hero Academia. Yeah, she's in that series. Like, she's in My Hero? Who's she voice? Ryo Suzuki. I'm looking at basically who this is. Oh, it's the Vine Girl. Yep, it's the Vine Girl. That's who she voices in the series. She's also in Love Tyrant. She's in One Piece. Oh, she was basically Mimosa in Black Clover. Yep. Same woman here. She also Coco in Dragon Ball Super. She is Aelia from one episode of Death March Hero Rhapsody. Let's see. She's in Kaguya-sama Love is War, Combatants We Dispatched, as Tillis. Great. I think that was the most... Oh yeah, she's also in Jobless Reincarnation. Yep, she's the voice of Zenith and Norn, which is great. Yes. Yeah, they're pretty much freaking sirens. Now, they describe them as juvenile. I don't know if these two are in fact related to each other or just boyfriend girlfriend. Like, oh, let's go to this killer's like island, and it's it's Wilhelm's Island. I'm like, really? This is probably like the second people to visit this island, and like, wow, I revisit the island. This one definitely confirmed this is the same island that Curryman went to. So they try out like, oh, they go to the restaurant, have a seat. Excuse me. Then they try to play the piano. First time they play one of the objects in the background of the series. And they start singing. And the Master and Anita start like falling asleep. And luckily enough, Kara was immune to it. So they basically told them to stop singing. And the fact this place is under protection. Please just stop. And like, oh, you can talk like that. It's like, oh yeah, telepathy. So, like, you having raw fish? Like, we do have something that has raw fish. Crepes. I personally have never tried this at all. Actually, it's carpaccio. Yes, like in the case of Nagato spaghetti and fruit crepe, I've never tried this before. Yes, it is a dish from... Let's see. Where's this dish from? This is an Italian dish. Yes. It doesn't look interesting to me to eat. Oh no, this... raw fish. No thank you. So, they try it, they like it, and they decide, oh yeah, by the way, the money they used to pay for it was basically Curryman's money that he left behind for anyone who left behind the island, which is quite generous of him to do. Mm-hmm. And they run into him, actually it's Alfheim. They run into him and they don't say anything to him at all. It's like, oh, it's him. I'm like, why don't you just walk up to him and say, thank you for the money and thank you for basically inviting us here. You could have done that. Nope, we'll just end it right there. Okay. Yep. And the last segment to talk about is Curry Bun. Yep. This is something. Now, I should point out, though, about these two episodes. These two episodes, for episodes. Now, I forgot to mention this for 7, 8, 9. 7 covered chapter 16. 8 covered chapter 18. 26 of book 2. And chapter 53 of book 3. 9 covered chapters 22 and 34. In the case of episode number 10, that covered 24 and 31, and this one covered just chapter 35. In the case of the curry buns, I have not. I'm looking. I'm just trying to see exactly where the heck they have this stuff, because it's just, oh, I'm not really sure exactly where the heck they would have this stuff. Let's see if I can find it here. Let's see. I'm thinking it might be either, it's not in book 1 for curry bun. There's curry rice, but curry bun? I would think it would be one of the specials for one of the books. Not see much anything. I mean, it's book 3. Curry bread, that's probably what curry bun is. Basically, curry bread is curry bun. So it's probably from special number 3. Yeah. Special number 3 from book number 3. Yeah, that's probably where this is from. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's probably where this is from. Yep. That's my personal guess. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, basically, it's kind of at business hours, but they're not closed just yet. It's, well, they had to basically have these people have a meal before they go. So, we have Kara having her chicken curry. And, of course, the master brings out curry buns, a.k.a. curry bread. So he heats them up, and, of course, Nita likes to have, like, she tries them out, like, so good. And this is all told from Kara's perspective, where these two, where the master is very used to having this stuff, and she says, basically, even if people like it does taste good cold, but he likes it nice and hot. I agree with him. I love my food hot. So, they eat it, of course, she tries it too, delicious. And for the first time in the series, she actually talks with her mouth instead of using telepathy. Which, that's good. Very good. First time, it took 11, it took basically just a few episodes after her debut to finally do it, which is good. Yep. And of course, they'll go home, and that's the episode. Gotta admit, 2 pretty good episodes. I would probably say the best segment of these 4 is probably, well, I think the guy with spaghetti, that's a good character one. I think Cripes definitely was a really good one. I kind of wish there was a little more explanation about the fairies. But Capricorn was interesting, but I think that was a little bit kind of weak in a way. But not a terrible story per se that they have here. Mm-hmm. Yep. But yeah, 1 more episode left to go, and I'll review that tomorrow. Yep. So yes, that is it for the particular review. Stay tuned for tomorrow. I'll review the final episode of the first season of the show. I'll review Case Closed, and hope to God they upload Shaman King, because I've checked 2 websites that basically normally use. It's not there for some reason. I'm not sure what's going on with the episode. Maybe it's late. I don't think it's been delayed. No, I've checked it basically online. It was aired. I'm just not sure why it wasn't subbed to these other sites to go to. Which probably chose legit. It's perfectly fine. There's one else I haven't checked out. I might check it tomorrow, but yeah. So until you see it tomorrow for those videos, Bye.